Okay. Yeah, I want to talk about machines versus free weights in this video. I've got a lot of experience myself using both, and then also what I've observed from other people. Yeah, I want to start making more of these topic videos, get a nice little library of these going. Yeah, I got some good information on this, some stuff from personal experience that you might not get anywhere else. So generally speaking, free weights are better for most people. The only time that machines are really going to be better are for like the elderly and for apparently top pro bodybuilders who already built a base on free weights. But it's also better to use both if you can. Like you want to build a base on free weights, and then the machines for like a little refinement towards the end of the workout, kind of like the icing on the cake. Yeah, I'm gonna go through and kind of compare the pros and cons of both the free weights and the machines. And so I'll start with free weights and then work to machines. Yeah, so free weights are generally better because they use the stabilizer muscles. They're not on a fixed track like the machines are. So you have to hold it in space. So it uses the stabilizer muscles and creates more stress and more stimulus, which can be positive or negative, depending on kind of what you're going for. But it generally creates more fatigue and creates more stress. So you get a better response. But the kind of a con of it is that it requires more skill and more practice. So a lot of today there's a lot of information overload and hyper entertainment. To where maybe a few years ago when the internet wasn't so popular and you just had videos and stuff like that and a lot of free time on your hands, you can practice the free weight movements more. Like it took me a long time to learn the squat because I have deadlifter's bone structure, long legs and shorter spine. So it took me a lot of trial and error and practice with just like a wooden stick. You could use like a broomstick, or I used like a karate bow staff and just practiced a lot, many hours. And then what I figured out is you get your legs a little wider for if you have a deadlifter's bone structure, to where if you have a squatter's bone structure, you just put your feet pretty close together and you can just squat straight down. So I get deadlift pretty easy. I could not deadlift for a long time and then go in there and just lift a decent bit of weight right away. So if I start back, then I need to go slow and don't go as heavy as I can right away, because that'll cause irritations and stuff like that. So like with any exercise program, a lot of times you want to ease into it. So that's kind of a drawback, to where a machine is really easy and you can just jump right in there, and it kind of like focuses for you, and it's in that fixed track, which can also be good because it's more isolation and more refinement. Like I remember using like a Nautilus chest machine, and you can see your chest popping out in different ways that you wouldn't see with the free weight, because it's fixed on that track. So that's the only time that a machine is going to be dangerous, is if it's on a bad track, which a lot of times you'll get on like a Smith machine. Like if your form is bad, or you're in there crooked or something like that, and you're going on an unnatural track, or it's like not in alignment with your joints, then that can cause problems. That's the basically one of the few dangers of the machines. Obviously, if you just go in there and just try to put as heavy a weight in there as possible and then try to lift it, you could potentially damage yourself that way. But other than that, they're pretty safe. Yeah, and so it's kind of weird why a lot of top pro bodybuilders now, they mostly only use machines. And I think pretty much all of them still built their base on free weights. But once you get stronger, the free weights become more dangerous. Just like moving the dumbbells around or taking the bar off the squat rack or the bench rack, moving the dumbbells into place. You can get injured that way. Or if it's like out in space, like you're doing shoulder press, it could lean to one side or something like that, to where if you're in a fixed track, it's not going to do that. So that's the big danger. So the pros are really want to play it safe, because also they're all on performance enhancing drugs like steroids and stuff like that, which causes you to have injuries easier because the muscles kind of outgrow the joints and ligaments and tendons and stuff like that. So it's easier to get injured, so they also want to play it safe with the machines. Yeah, I got another topic video I think I'm going to do. I'm going to talk about why natural is better. Yeah, there's a lot to get into on that one. Yeah, still a lot of the past bodybuilders, just the past, like, I guess before Phil Heath. Phil Heath might have been the one to start that just used machines. But like Jay Cutler, Ronnie Coleman, on down, Dorian Yates, Lee Haney, they still used more of a mix of free weights and machines, and still use the base of the free weights. But yeah, the bigger you get, the stronger you get, the more dangerous it gets. The more you're trying to push the limits of your body, the more potential problems you get into with any sport. Running, lifting, whatever. If you're trying to push the limits, you have to be a lot smarter about it. You see what's on the edge, and so you have to make everything perfect. Your form right, the timing right, everything. And that's kind of one of the signs of like a good bodybuilder to follow and to watch, is the ones that don't have injuries, or at least the ones that have injuries. They tell you what they did wrong, and so you learn what they did and don't do it. So also, machines are better if you're doing, and they're not better, but they're really good for circuit training. If you're going through a lot of exercises fast, because they're not as taxing, and you can just jump from machine to machine, and just like maybe adjust the seat and the pin load really quick, so you can work the whole body out pretty fast and move at it at a quick pace. And that's also a big difference between machines and free weights, is you can grind out rep after rep on a machine, and then it's like 20-30 seconds later you're just perfectly fine, whatever. But if you do that like on a free weight exercise, then it's like you're huffing and puffing and your muscles are burning and you feel it for the next day and everything like that. So machines are just less stressful. Yeah, I noticed some older people a while ago when I was working at the YMCA. These guys, they were like 85 or 90. It looked it looked like it's like a black guy and a white guy, and they both looked like they were at least 80, like really old. But they went on one of those pec deck with like the roller pads for the flies, which is nice having the roller pads instead of the handle. And it just looked like it fit them really well. Like it worked out really well for them. And so that just made me think machines are really good for the elderly. And so for most people, teenagers and people in their 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, I guess. Free weights are generally better, and then for all beginners, it's kind of better to get your start on the free weights so you can get more results that way. And then generally within a workout, you wanna start with free weights. Sometimes you can start with isolation instead of compound, but generally you want to start with free weights and do more of them, and then maybe a few machines at the end for refinement. There's some things you can't get away from, like leg training, leg extensions, leg curls, particularly leg curls. Like, kind of has to be a machine. They have like a new thing where it's like a cuff, and you like strap it to your leg, and it's like you put a dumbbell on a hook. That looks pretty good, like a free weight. But generally speaking, it's hard to get away from leg curls. And also, I guess I'm going a little out of order. I noticed that the top pros, they still use free weights, but it's like only for like arm and like shoulder lateral raises and stuff like that. They don't do it for they're not doing like heavy squats and barbell rows and stuff like that. And some of them, they'll still do it, but it's just minimum. It's good to do both, but the free weights are more potent. So that's the video. Next one I'm going to do, I'm going to talk about the difference between lifting weights and calisthenics. I hope you enjoyed it, and maybe learned a few tips and tricks there.